You could introduce yourselves and the role you play in the band.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm Sarah. I'm the drummer.
I'm Logan. I'm the guitar player.
I'm Kayla. I'm the singer.
And can you tell us a little bit about the band's origin?
Yeah. So me and Logan actually met at a music school about 3 years ago now.
hmm
And we kind of were in like a, I don't know, we were getting older in like the band program, and we were in this band that was writing original music, but it was more just for fun. And I was like, oh, he's actually pretty good. So I messaged him on Instagram. We've like never really talked. And I
hmm
was like, hey, like I want to start this project. I want it to be all original music. Like, would you be interested? And he said yes. And then fast forward, we've had a few different band members and singers, and it just wasn't the right fit. But we ended up finding Kayla a year ago now.
Yeah.
She was actually performing with her cover band at the time. And me and Logan went down to the show to just see if any singers caught her eye or anything. And as soon as she started singing, I was like, oh my gosh, like she's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
And I went up to her and I kind of told her everything. And I asked her, and she said no. And she was just really busy at the time in a couple bands and projects and just kind of figuring out what she wanted to do. And then I didn't take no for an answer, and I wrote her a whole essay on Instagram telling her why she should be in the band.
hmm
And now she's in the band.
Yeah.
She was convincing.
Yeah.
She's good at that.
So, how did you guys come up with the name Twisted?
um, it's kind of a long story, but when we were thinking about like our, I guess what sound we were going for and our songs, we kept coming back to like different flowers, and we really liked roses.
Yeah.
And we were kind of doing a little research on them, and we found out that pink roses like represent women. And since we're a female fronted band, we were looking at that, and then we saw blue roses like represent mystery and all this, I guess, lore behind it. And we kind of pulled that into our songs, and we're like, well, we're looking at like an image of a rose, and we saw this vine. We're like, oh, it's like cool how it's like twisting up the vine or the stem of the flower.
Yeah.
And we kind of just like, we're like, oh, twisting. And then we kind of just like
It just
pieced
kind
it
of
together
came.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Twisted is already like a band. And then if you say Twisted, it sounds like Twisted anyway. So it's like you pull that
Yeah.
out
We're
of
just
the
like, we'll go with
sentence.
that.
You're like, yeah, it twists. Look how the way it twisted. Okay. You get it. But it's just a weird origin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a unique way of coming up with the name for a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like it.
When it comes to you, sometimes,
It happens that way sometimes. We've had
Yeah.
a lot of stories about bands that have told us how they got their name, and there's been some really interesting creative ways people have come up with band names. Wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yeah.
I'm always
I
just
can only
curious. I'm
imagine.
just always curious how people think of the name because I myself would have a hard time thinking of a name for a band. Although
Yeah.
back in the day, I did think of a name and we were going to call our band name like Yeah, but no.
That could
That's a
be
good one.
cool.
I feel like it just comes to you sometimes. Have you ever seen those TikTok? It's like oh, bands figuring out what they're going to be called, and like with Sleeping with Sirens, like your roommate walks in the room, how are you sleeping with all these sirens going off? And then they're like, wait a sec, sleeping with sirens, like it's just some dumb idea, and then like you feel it, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, people have had lots of inspiration come from like just waking up after dreams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened
that's
to
me
us a
half
few
asleep.
times.
hmm
Yeah. It's like
Nice.
3 a.m. and I'm sending Logan an audio of a melody. I'm like, la la,
That's when
and
the
he,
inspiration
yep.
hits. The middle of the night.
Exactly.
It's in your subconscious.
Yes.
It is.
So you guys are a relatively new band, and you just mentioned that, you've gone through other singers and everything. So I'm assuming your older tracks and everything had the old singer back in 2022.
hmm
Yeah. We're kind of in the process of like slowly taking them down and moving in with our new songs. We kind of had them up as like a placeholder until we got everything released. But now
Yeah.
looking forward to kind of
Rebranding.
rebranding a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. because the new EP Breathe came out in November of 2024, which is going to be probably this will be released in 2025. So
Mhm.
this
Yep.
episode, this interview. So is that the type of sound you're going for now with the band?
Yeah, I would say so. That's like that sound is pretty much like the sum up of all of our influences, pretty much. It's a good you know.
We actually just got back from Nashville. We went over Thanksgiving and we recorded 5 more songs. So I would say they're definitely on the heavier side. Have some more like I don't know, like
Intricacy.
techno, yeah, like
Yeah.
I
more
feel
like
yeah, they're more
Mo-
filled out. Like
yeah,
listening to the stuff that we recorded compared to the stuff that we've released already, like it is the same like vibe, but it's just like fuller.
hmm
I don't know
Mhm.
how to like it feels like
It's better
we've completed.
structured and
Yeah.
yeah.
We like to say we're like they feel very like cinematic, like they could be in like a movie scene or like a really dramatic like
Yeah, I feel like they are very dramatic.
Yeah.
That's a good word for our
Yeah,
sound.
like you're staring out the car window in the back seat, kind of imagining a movie in your head, kind of songs
Yeah.
like we go for.
Well, that's exciting. I'll be excited to
Yeah.
hear the new stuff.
we just
Yeah,
got
with that-
our
Go ahead.
we actually just got our first final mix back of the one song, so
Yeah.
it'll be
Sounds
happening
super
soon.
dope.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So fans have something to look forward to in the new year.
Yes, they do.
Right away, right out of the gate.
Yep.
Yep.
And now
You-
you said the new songs are a little bit heavier. How do you mix the elements that you do during the creative process to make sure that one element doesn't overpower the other?
That's a good question.
I feel like
Logan, when you might have like one of the better takes on that.
I don't know.
I was gonna
Um,
say, like, I feel like we always start with like a guitar riff a lot of the time.
hmm
So then that kind of like sets the mood of the song. And then
Yeah.
we basically just try and like layer in the extra atmospheric parts, I guess, to fit that.
Yeah,
But
no, that pretty much sums it up.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
without like, I'm like, without giving away too much, I don't know. It's really like all of the ideas kind of come up on the spot. It's almost, like we'll listen to the empty vocal with just guitar for like way too long until our ears start to bleed. And then it's kind of like, oh, that would sound good there. Or, and as far as like making sure that one thing doesn't overpower another, I feel like it's good to have all of our minds just kind of in there. Because I might think something sounds really good, and then Sarah will be like, Kayla, like, you're an idiot, No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't say that. Well, but, she might be like, oh, that, I feel like that might be a little too loud. Like, what if, it's kind of also about, like, the theme of the song, like, what kind of ambient sound we want to be more in the forefront. Like,
Mhm.
Still Alive, our theme was running from zombies. So, like, what kind of tones in there were like made
Yeah, it's
that
kind of like, what am
vibe
I
kind of
hearing when
shine?
I'm
Yeah,
running
like
from
what did I
zombies?
hear in my mind? Like I'm
When I'm
being,
thinking of that.
yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
being chased by zombies, what noise am I hearing? Screaming. No. None of that.
My running joke with zombies is if I'm with a group of people, it's like if zombies chase us, I'm tripping you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close them down.
hmm
It's the only way I'm going to survive.
Yeah.
Play
We'll
dirty.
trip Logan first.
Yeah,
Oh.
since I'm the boy.
He probably wouldn't be running as fast as us anyway.
Yeah.
He'd be zooming.
I don't think I can run that fast anymore, so they'll probably eat me first, so it's okay.
Yeah, it is what it is, Luckily, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Keyword being yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25.
You never know. 2025 might be the year of the zombie.
Yeah. Don't put that energy out here. We've had too much bad juju happening at the end of this year, I feel like.
It's true. A lot has happened at the end of this year.
hmm
So it's a good thing we're all going into a new year.
Yes.
Yeah.
New year,
Mhm.
new endeavors, new
Yes.
other stuff
Yep.
happening in our lives. Hopefully nothing bad.
Yes.
Fingers
So,
crossed.
so you mentioned influences earlier. Who are some of your influences that you take from?
I'd say our main influences come from probably Evanescence and Flyleaf. We get told that we sound like Spirit Box in some aspects, like more of the instrumental parts are definitely heavier, but a lot of the vocal stuff, I could definitely hear like Kayla sounds almost a lot like Flyleaf, so I could hear where that's coming from. But
Yeah. We also, I feel like we give like Dayseeker vibes a little,
yeah,
Catch Your Breath, that kind of like
hmm
genre over there.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like we get two different influences like instrumentally we pull from a lot of those like Gen T bands or like
yeah,
metalcore bands and stuff
Hmm.
that kind of incorporate electronic stuff with that heavy guitar and drum sound. But then vocally, I feel like we draw a lot of more like melodic influence from female singers that maybe aren't even in the metal scene at all. I'm like, I can't
hmm
think of any off the top of my head, but like, even Amy Lee, like, even though that is metal, she's very melodic with her voice. We keep a lot of our vocals clean and not so screamy like most of
hmm
the stuff is today. So,
Yeah. Chris
yeah.
loves a good clean vocal.
I
yeah,
do.
me too. Yep.
So I will say that for right now, at least, Drown is my favorite track of yours. However, I'm going to throw a caveat on that. It's also winter time, and I tended to gravitate toward heavier music in the winter. So it was funny. I actually had a very specific moment a couple nights ago. I was driving to meet a friend, and it was like 6:47 p.m. and I was like going through like my pop punk and alt pop that I've been listening to a lot of, and I'm like, this isn't doing it anymore. I'm like, where's Every Time I Die? I'm like, it's time to change what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
yeah, I have them too. Season of the year is going to be a different genre of music for me.
yeah.
Hmm
It's funny. I feel like Drown was like I guess the least well perceived that we've released. Like the other ones have definitely taken off more than that one, but that one's always super fun to play live. And
Yeah.
even on our EP, we have this little like interlude to Drown, and it's basically an EDM remix to it. So what we do live is we play the EDM remix and then it cuts and goes right into Drown, which is always really fun. So that's definitely my personal favorite to play live. But
Yeah.
And with Drown on the set because it's kind of like that last heavier one. But I feel like at least when my friends and family listened to the whole EP, when they got to Drown, they were like, oh, this is like a lot heavier than your other stuff. Or like, this is kind of like a different route than I thought it was going to go. So maybe it's just a little bit more unexpected to some people, but I feel like that one, I was surprised to hear you say that that was your favorite just because
mhm.
not many people have told me that. So,
Mm. I
Yeah,
would actually say that probably our new songs are probably closest to Drowned Sound just because that was the only song on our last EP that was recorded with a seven string. And these new songs are actually all on seven string. So it kind of has that clarity that that song has as well.
mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love heavy stuff, but my two favorite songs were Faded and Still Alive. Just got
Mm,
Mm.
throwing that out there.
yeah.
Those were my favorite too when we were doing them. So, um, now I can't listen to them anymore because they just sound like noise. But in the moment when we were recording and like I was in there like, yeah, like that sounds good. I can't wait to hear
Yeah.
this. Like, but then of course I burnt out. I burnt myself out. So,
Burnout's real.
yeah,
hmm
I feel like it really depends, but I kind of like that about our stuff is that, coming from whatever genre you listen to, like there is something for everybody. Like, I don't know. I was listening to Lady Gaga today, like, and then I'm turning on Bitter and I'm like, we need some more Gaga elements the next time we go in the studio. I'm like, I'm going
Yeah.
crazy. But
Chris is
yeah.
talking about how the seasons like change his mood and everything. I'm just all over the board all the time. I can
Yeah.
go from like super poppy stuff to super heavy, but the running joke is always if I'm in a bad mood, I listen to Atreyu.
Hmm. That's funny.
Yeah.
But today at work, I was like, I really want to listen to some Conquer Divide. I haven't listened to some Conquer Divide for a very long while
I like
lately.
them. They're good.
They're great. They're
They
very great.
are.
They're awesome live. I saw them twice in August.
Mm, I know. I haven't got to see them, but hopefully one day.
Oh yeah, they'll tour. They'll tour more.
Yeah.
My Spotify Wrapped was so random. I usually I post it every year, and I looked at it this year and I was like, I'm not posting that. People are gonna be like, what is wrong with you? It's like
I'm
number one
always
artist, like
I'm always shocked at my Spotify Wrapped because I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, I swear I listened to so and so way more than that one.
yeah,
Like, how
Yeah.
did they come up with this? They say that it's based off all what you listen to, and I'm like,
yeah.
there's no way.
That's
There's
what I
no way
said this year.
sometimes.
I was like, they must have missed like half the year or something. They must have lost a lot of data because I did not listen to that, you know.
Yeah, how shocked were you that Charlotte Sands was like my number one, Jess?
Oh,
Like,
I'm
and I was in like
not
the
shocked.
I was in like the top 0.2% of listeners.
I don't know, man.
I was like, there's no way.
You went on that binge after you saw her.
I did go on the binge after I saw her, you're right.
falling asleep to her music, maybe.
Yeah, you fell asleep while listening to her,
Yeah,
and it just
that could be
kept
it.
playing on repeat. That's how it did
My number one
Yep.
artist was White Noise, 24-hour loop. No, I'm just kidding.
it. Hey, good for the band though. You had a bazillion plays on it then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I fell asleep listening to Orange Haze one night when it came out, and it got like 100 streams in the night. So I was like, oh, well, that helps.
my friend told me the other day he fell asleep listening to a playlist and then he had a dream that I was in and he got shocked awake and Bitter was playing on his TV. So I was
Wow.
like, you know, I
Yep.
had to hop in your nightmares and scare you real quick, scare you awake,
Yeah.
let you know what you were listening to.
So how is the local scene where you guys are in Philly, right?
Mhm.
Yep. I would say, I mean, there's good and bad things to everything. Like, I guess the downfall of the Philly area is I'm the only one under 21, so a lot of the venues definitely in the city that we want to play, we can't because there's really strict laws here, and it's even like I'm like, hey, can I play? And then I can stand outside. Like I won't even be in the bar until I have to play and go right out. But a lot of places don't even let that anymore. So pretty much can't play any venue in actual Philadelphia, which
Yeah.
sucks sometimes. But definitely like the surrounding areas.
Yeah, I'll say we play more in the surrounding states and the surrounding area to Philly than we actually do play in the city.
Yeah, but I mean the surrounding areas like Allentown and there's Reading and Harrisburg and all around there. It's really great, great venues and meet a lot of great bands.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that a lot of bands like coming off tours that maybe like want to play with us, they hit those smaller area or not like they're not smaller because they're big towns, but they're like, you know, you expect them to go to Philly if they're coming to Pennsylvania and the East
Mhm.
Coast, like that corner of Pennsylvania. And Harrisburg can be like an hour or two from Pennsylvania, and same with Allen or Pennsylvania, an hour or two from Philadelphia. But so can Allentown. But those are like pretty popular spots. Like we play there more often than we're ever asked to play like a venue in the city with another artist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same with like outskirts like Jersey, like right over the bridge into
Mhm.
Jersey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be a struggle though, since you're not 21 yet. Are you going to turn 21 in 2025?
Nope, I got like
Ah, you don't even
3
get to
more
turn
years.
21 in 2025. Oh, you're super young.
She's
Yeah.
18, yeah.
Oh, well, you got a little ways to go then.
Yeah.
You guys got to just find all those all ages venues, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
is that the
that's a
same with
struggle.
like is that the same with like the Foundry and everything in Philly? Like you have to be 21?
I don't know about the Foundry. I feel like maybe when you start getting to like those bigger places and that and the Fillmore and all those, I feel like
I
I
don't
don't
think that they have
yeah, I don't think
age
it's
restriction rules.
yeah, because like I can go to a show there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that's not as hard, but obviously it's harder getting into there and they're very picky. So but
Yeah, I definitely think you'd have to do all ages venues because bars are going to kind of be stricter about that just because of
yeah,
underage is,
Yeah.
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 See, that's what's hard. It's like the venues that are like our size and like our room cap that we should be playing to, we can't play because it's all like small not I just like dive bars or like I don't know, mostly a bar. And then it's
Yeah.
like the ones that are like more all ages is like we're still working towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Hmm.
So, going back to music and songs off the EP, which song on the EP do you think has gained the most attention?
Faded.
Definitely Faded.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We had a TikTok blow up a couple weeks ago now with Faded.
Mhm.
And it's funny because that's our only song that has like an actual written guitar solo for it. And we made this joke and we're like, guitar solos are dying, like not necessarily as like they're dead, but definitely not as popular. And then it was like, but then this is Logan's solo. And
Yeah.
that just took off, which is funny because it's just like 30 seconds of him playing a guitar solo, and that's what helped blow up our song, which is funny. But
Yeah.
just seeing how people respond to
Yeah.
that and a different, I
People
guess.
say guitar solos aren't dead. What are you talking about?
I know that was funny.
I know. But like they're
Like,
not as
obviously,
common as
I'm
they
fine.
were, you know? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
classic
no,
rock,
definitely not.
compared to now. But yeah, that TikTok blew up. We gained like over 20,000 listeners on Spotify. Um, I got random people following me on Instagram, and I was like, how'd you even find me? So
Oh, it's possible. Where there's a will, there's a way. People find you
yep,
everywhere.
that's so true.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even people randomly find me at my regular profile, and I have a podcast profile for myself as well, just to try and keep that separated. But I'm still
Yeah.
randomly get people randomly requesting me, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
hmm
Mhm.
But then I
Yeah.
see that they like the podcast, and I'm like, oh, great, they found me.
Right. That's so
I was
funny.
like, if you
Yeah.
want to find me, just, follow me on my JamXPJess profile, not my real name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same. You'll still get me. It's
Yep.
just I'm keeping those two things separate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. I know I should have made a second one, but I did not, and I'm like too lazy to do it now. So
Oh,
I've
They'll
always had
find
a
you
public
anyway.
Instagram, and now I'm like regretting having a public Instagram. So
yeah. Did you guys, so since your post blew up on TikTok, did your following blow up on TikTok?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got
So,
TikTok was like I guess like we didn't have many followers on TikTok and we only had a
Yeah.
couple hundred. And then ever since posting that, within like 2 weeks, we're at like 17,000 followers now, which is
Dang.
crazy to us. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Chris,
It really
we
helped
need
us
to
out.
figure something out to do that to ourselves.
No, let's not talk about TikTok.
I know.
We're saying hopefully it doesn't actually get banned now that we had a video blow up and
I know.
a lot of our followers
Yeah.
on there. So
We
we'll see,
pretty
but
much, yeah, we pretty much cross post everything. Like everything that we post on Instagram
Yeah.
goes on TikTok, goes on Facebook, just in case. And we try, well, Sarah tries. She's our hardest worker with the social media. I can't take much credit, except I did make that video of me spilling the coffee today. But she tries to put something together, and Logan and I contribute, me the least, but every day, just to post something every day or at least every other day, just to keep people engaged
Mhm.
so that they don't forget about us. And
Yeah.
we had 50 likes, 60 likes, 30 likes, and then all of a sudden we had however many 500,000 likes. And it's just like that consistency that you have to stick with, I think.
Yeah.
Even if you think
Yeah.
it's dumb and you want to give up, like it just has to reach the right audience on the right day.
But
at
then
the right
that
moment.
happens, and then you're
Yeah.
like, I want another one to do that
Yeah,
Right?
literally.
We had one moment and we were like, can we do that with a regular post?
yep.
Not a stolen like cat on a dryer.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works though. It's like our best performing platform is Instagram, but our worst is TikTok. So
Yeah, that was us. And then like I stopped like posting on TikTok not as often because I was like, I feel like it's just not working. And then I started posting like every day for a couple weeks. And then it was right when we were leaving the studio in Nashville and we were getting on our flight. And I posted that guitar video on Instagram. It did okay. And then I was like, oh, let me just post it on TikTok. And we got off the plane and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I'm glad it's working for you guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Gotta keep
Gotta get the
going.
exposure. Gotta get the exposure.
Yeah.
People comment so much more on TikTok too. Like
Yeah.
I'll see 0 comments on the same video on Instagram, and then I'll go on TikTok and it's got like 30, and I'm like,
Yeah, the
oh,
engagement's a lot better on there.
yeah,
Mhm.
interestingly so. It's
TikTok
cool to
is
see
a
the
younger
differences.
generation than Instagram, and then Facebook's still the older generation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that could be why. You
that's
never
true.
it's
know.
possible.
They
Isn't
have a
it
lot
isn't
more to
it
say.
isn't it TikTok where we got our first hate comment?
Yes.
Which is interesting because Instagram Reels is supposed to be like the meanest. Like that's where people are supposed to be. That's where I heard like
I
have you
see
ever seen
lots
the
of
tweet?
mean
Yeah.
comments on Instagram all the time. I'm just like, why do people even bother?
I know.
Like, they say, you should just stop making music. It's like, why do you even follow this band then?
Yeah, like why
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't like it, scroll, I guess. But like
Keep
clearly some
scrolling,
people
keep
do.
scrolling.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people just want the attention. That's the problem.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like rage bait that goes on on social media anymore, and same with like bots, just commenting whatever.
Yeah. So then TikTok's been your best social media.
Yep.
Definitely.
I was going somewhere with that and I totally lost track of my thought. What else, Chris?
Why are
Did
you
you?
asking me? What else?
I don't know.
Um,
I'm trying. You're supposed to like know what I'm thinking and
no.
like,
So if you can't tell, we're not brother and sister, but we may as well be.
Right.
Mhm.
We
Right.
we bicker a lot. We've never met in person. Um, I've known her for what, 20 years now?
probably like 2004 or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
21
Wow.
years almost.
yeah, gosh, we're old.
I know
Yes, we are.
you can get
We're
into
elder
these shows
emos,
with
so
Sarah.
we're elder emos, but I always love like talking to people that are younger than us because it's interesting to see the differences in like how you deal with stuff nowadays than how we would deal with stuff.
Right.
But it's also interesting to see how some of the um, older bands, I guess you would say, differ in their creative process to new and up and coming bands, especially
Mhm.
ones that have been established for quite some time. Um, I never really thought of it as like a lot of bands have told us the story like it's a job. Like I'm here, I'm like, yeah, I like the people I play music with, but it's a job.
Yeah.
Um, it was like, where's the fun in that?
Right? That's
I
no
mean,
fun.
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, really, it is like a full-time job a lot of the times, but
But it is also fun, especially like, I mean, it can get like annoying sometimes having to post every single day, but like when you do have like again like that one video like pop off, like it really is rewarding and you're like it encourages you to keep going because you want another one to do that good.
and like,
I was just gonna say because like the love is in the music, like the love is
mhm.
in performance. There's musicians in bands who love to write, and then there's people who love to perform, and like, but you have to do so much more. Like obviously, us three, we love the performance aspect of it, and that part, doesn't feel like a job, but all the stuff that comes with it, like,
Mhm.
we do have to like sit there on days that we don't feel creative and write song lyrics and try and come up with something and on days that like and obviously it's really not the worst job in the world, right? Like there's so many more things to complain about. No, I'm just kidding. But working with these guys, it's nice to at least have your friends who are doing it with you, like to do it with a team that you actually enjoy, and it makes
Aw,
it feel like less of a chore.
love you.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that goes on behind like actually getting up on stage. But then when we have those few like moments and those couple of shows in like the month and we finally get on stage and we start the first song, we're just like, yeah, like it's all worth it. And just
Yeah.
seeing everyone smile and even singing your song back to you is like the coolest experience. And
Yeah,
just
it's a great
seeing how they
feeling.
all react, it's worth it and so much fun.
Yeah.
Have you had anything crazy happen at a show? Anything you guys experienced or witnessed happen while performing?
We I guess this is kind of like not while we were performing, but we had this one show and it was just kind of like we all weren't really feeling it that day. We got there was like some issues with the venue and just miscommunication. and speakers weren't really working right at the show. It wasn't our best sounding show, but we got off stage and this guy came up to us and was like, "Hey, can I buy merch?" And we're like, "Yeah, of course." And there weren't that many people there. And he was like, "Yeah, my name's Declan." And he drove from Syracuse, New York to where we were, which was like 3.5, 4 hours.
That's where
I'm
I
like,
live.
Oh,
really?
I mean, yeah. I don't blame him for getting the heck out of here. But anyway, keep going.
But yeah, it was like a 3.5, 4 hour drive. It was on like a day he literally just got out of work, and it was a small venue, and just him like telling us that and driving all that way to see us at that small venue on a random night was just like,
Yeah, so he found us online off
yeah,
of like some Kayla's boyfriend has a meme page, and so he just posts like random memes with our sounds over them sometimes, and he saw that meme and was just like, these guys sound cool, and just drove 4 hours to see us.
yeah.
So I was like, wow, thank you. That's awesome.
And then it was cool. We ended up like hanging out with them the rest of the night and just talking for hours. And now we see him at a lot of our shows, and it's just like one of our friends now, and it's just really cool.
Hmm.
He's
Yeah,
a
and he
friend and a
brings
fan for life now.
yes, and he brings
Yeah.
Definitely.
like I think one of our shows he brought like two of his brothers,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
yeah, it's cool. I mean,
one of the OGs.
yeah, because we were playing such a small venue. Like I mean, it was like a show that we really weren't expecting many people to come out to. I think it was just one of those random shows. So, and
Mhm.
he was like the one beacon of light in the crowd. I was like, yeah, there's the crowd, and that guy's really enjoying it. And I'm like, like that guy, like, I think he knows the lyrics. I was like,
Yeah.
what? But that's cool. I mean, it can be. I feel like there's been nothing like insane that's happened
Oh,
yet at a show.
the one of our like biggest shows, we were playing this theater in New Jersey, and we were halfway through the set, and my double bass pedal, the spring of it broke off. So my like one pedal that I use basically to play every single song was broken, and there's no way to fix it because the spring broke. So I have like two people underneath me trying to see if they could fix it while we're still playing our songs, and then there's no way to fix it. So I had to try
Mhm.
and play our whole set with my left foot. And then we finally fixed it. And then 2 shows later, again, an important show, the whole bass drum broke again. So
Yeah,
that was like the most crazy thing, but
yeah,
we
it
got through it.
happens. Yeah.
I know. There was one show where I like um I'll explain this like singer thing for as if nobody understands anything about vocals just for clarity's sake. But we have our in-ear monitoring system, which for me that'll feed me like my vocals the loudest so that I can hear myself really clear so that I don't have to like push too much. And so because sometimes with the sound guy, you never know what you're gonna get. They don't really like they can only listen to you so much with how much you say you want the sound in your front monitor. So the sound people, they'll give you like a front monitor so that you can hear yourself and the instruments. Um, Obviously, because usually the concert speaker is in front of the stage, so we can't hear that. Um, so because I wear my in-ears, a lot of the time the sound guys assume that I don't want any front monitor, but I do like to have one in and one out so that I can hear the crowd just in case somebody yells something to me and I need to know. But there was one show where we had to switch inputs for the microphone. So it disconnected from my in-ears, so I couldn't hear anything in my in-ears. And I kept trying to tell the sound guy that I needed front monitor. And for some reason, like I don't know if he just didn't hear me or if something was broken, but I kept being like, I cannot hear a single thing. It's literally like if you just plugged your ears and like you're imagining you're at a concert and you're singing the words. And that's basically like what it was like to sing. And I knew that the audience could hear me, but it was really hard to not like scream into the microphone, like just for clarity's sake so that I could hear. Felt like I sounded so bad. I got off stage, everybody was like, great job. And I was like, shut up. No, but it's like, how dare you say that? I probably sounded terrible. But it's just like one of the biggest scares as a vocalist to like not be able to hear yourself because you're drowned out by so much drum and guitar. No offense. But I love to be drowned out by those things usually.
Mhm.
But when you're putting on a show, you definitely want to be able to hear that you're hitting the right notes and you're being as loud as you need to be. So that's only my horror story, I guess, as a singer. But
Yeah, I feel like that's a bigger problem, like drums drowning you out when you're at like a smaller venue too.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. The acoustics of the venue play like such a big part in what's going on. I don't have Sarah in my in-ears at all. Like
I
I
don't
have
have
to,
it in mine either.
yeah, no, her drums are so loud. The only thing I have are like the tracks, the click, and then Logan and me. And Sarah's loud enough. I don't need her
Yeah.
fed right into my ear holes. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it always is. I mean, drums are usually the loudest. They're big cymbals that you hit and bang. And if you see live videos of us recorded, all you hear is the drums. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been to
yeah.
plenty of shows where I've recorded stuff and I'm just like, well, all I hear is drums.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
like, I
Yeah.
swear, I'm like showing somebody after a show, like, look, and then I'm playing it back. I'm like, I swear it sounded a lot better when I was there.
I've
But
learned though that you can't stand right in front of the stage if you're gonna want to hear the vocals. You got to
very
stand a
true.
little further back because if you don't have the speakers
Yep.
and they're behind you, then it's just gonna be all drums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely.
So when recording, don't stand behind the speakers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I'm just curious, besides music, you guys are obviously passionate about music. Do you guys have anything else you're passionate about? Like a hobby, a collection, anything?
I'll
You don't want to
start.
start with me.
Sarah's probably sad now
Um,
because it's over.
I'm a huge nerd outside of the music world. I love anime and video games, and I've recently been collecting little Pokemon cards somewhat. Yeah, those are some of my hobbies.
That's okay. You gotta catch them all. You gotta catch them all.
I do have to catch them all.
Yep.
They're very
He's
expensive
addicted.
too.
It is. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy how much like Pokemon is still like a crazy like collector's thing. But then again, you got like Magic the Gathering is still very popular.
Yeah,
Like you
that's
got
very
people
popular
showing
too.
videos of people at like hardcore shows playing Magic the Gathering in the pit.
Yeah.
I know. I saw this one video on TikTok of this crowd, and this one guy was opening a pack of Pokemon cards, and he pulled like the best card in the entire set in the middle of a huge festival. I'm like, that's so crazy.
That would
That's your
show up on
dream.
your
That
feed.
would be my dream. I was like, oh,
That's totally a
that
video that would
feeling.
show up in your feed.
Yeah.
I am a little bit like Logan, and I like anime. We bond about anime, specifically Naruto. It's
Hmm.
I think it's both of our favorites. When the first year that we went to Nashville, he was finishing the second Naruto Shippuden, and I was like, "What episode are you on?" I kept being like, "What episode are you at?" But I also really like to travel. I'm a big traveler. I actually, when I joined Twisted, they were like, "Yeah, we're going to Nashville to record this week on November," and I was
Mm.
like, "Oh yeah, like that's a week after I get back from Japan and Korea." So I was on a Japan and Korea 2 week trip, and then I was home for a week, and then we went to Nashville. I did a bunch of countries this year. They're all very spontaneous and random too. It's like you talk to me 1 week and, oh, what's going on? Nothing. And then the next day, what's going on? Oh, I'm leaving for Spain next week. And they're like, okay, on brand. And I like to read. I read a lot of books. Those are my big three, I guess.
Yeah.
Lay it on them, Sarah.
So everyone makes fun of me because I literally don't do anything else besides music. I used to do competitive gymnastics, but then I quit that for music. But really the only other thing I would say is I love Christmas, maybe a little too much, and I listen to Christmas music year round, and it's like my comfort music. So anytime I'm home alone, I'll put that on so I don't hear anything or anyone in the garage. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's pretty much just music and Christmas music.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's got like 8 Christmas trees in her house.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? People are a little crazy about Christmas sometimes, and that's
Gotta do
okay.
Yeah.
what you gotta do.
It makes me happy.
As
Yeah.
long as it makes you happy.
My favorite holiday is Halloween, so
I do like
Mhm.
Halloween too.
I mean, what other time can you just dress up anytime? I mean, I guess you could
Yeah.
dress up whenever, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
that's
look at
true.
you a little weird, less weird
Yeah.
when it's
Yeah,
during
for sure.
Halloween.
Any
Mhm.
holiday that I can decorate for is really like I hate that like Halloween, I feel like you can only have it up for October. But like as soon as I mean you could have it for November, but for me it's like as soon as Halloween's over, I'm putting up my Christmas decorations.
See, and I'm
Because
a Labor Day hits in September, Halloween goes up for all of September,
yeah.
Halloween, and then all the way till Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving, then I put my Christmas up.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll
Yeah.
ever take my I have a Christmas tree in my room right now, and I'm like I move out in like the end of March, and I'm like, do I want to get rid of the Christmas tree? Because then there'll just be a big empty space in my room, and it's like a nice little night light. It's kind of comforting. It reminds me of Sarah.
So I'm always with you.
Yes, exactly.
At my previous job, we had a Christmas tree in my department that we left up year round, and we would just change the decorations on it depending on what holiday was coming up.
That's
That's
Um,
smart.
That's a
and,
good
and
idea.
we just didn't want to take it down. We were lazy.
Yeah.
And then it turned
Well,
into a ton of ornaments.
that's kind of what I did though, Chris. Remember, like last Christmas, I couldn't put up my normal Christmas tree because we ran out of space. So I bought a skinny tree, but I decided to buy a black tree.
Mm.
So then I turned it into a Halloween tree this year. And then all I had to do was change the stuff on it for
Yeah.
Christmas, and I was good to go.
Yeah, that's genius,
Nice.
Yeah.
actually. I might
Yeah.
have to start doing that.
Yeah, get a black Christmas tree, and there you go.
Yeah.
And I
It's
put like
perfect.
LED lights on it so like they can be multiple different colors, so I can just change it
Yeah,
for the
Yeah.
season.
that's so true.
That's cool.
That's sick.
I have
I
a lot of
don't know that
LED.
I'll make like a Valentine's tree or something because, that's not really a real holiday.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really like one day, and I always forget about it until it's like the day before, and then
Yeah.
it's the day of, and I'm like,
It's just a Hallmark holiday.
yep,
Yeah.
here we are, you know.
Another reason for people to spend money on cards that will just get thrown in the garbage and eat a bunch
Yeah.
of chocolate.
Yep.
1,000%.
Kayla, I'm curious because you said you like to read. What do you like to read?
Oh, fantasy romance, man. I don't read any of that nonfiction stuff. What the heck? I'm imagine reading to read about reality. Like, I'm not I can't open a book and think, I'm gonna learn about the history of the United States. Like, no, I'm gonna read about a dragon and a new and some magic powers and you know
So
what I mean?
like Rebecca Yarros?
I have read Fourth Wing, but I wasn't a fan of it. I feel like I read 120 books in 2023. Okay. This year I had a slacking period because we were very music oriented this year. So you know, but I'm trying to get back up on it next year. I'm trying to, meet at least my goal or what I hit before. Um, but I read so much fantasy, like romance, that by the time I got to Fourth Wing, it felt just like every trope of fantasy romance in one book. And I was like, I think I got like halfway. I really loved the world. Like I loved the fantasy aspect of it, but the romance just didn't hit me like it should have.
I'm
And I
not a
think they're
big
making it into
reader.
like a TV show or something.
I'm not a big
Yeah.
reader. I went through a phase where I was listening to books and stuff. And you're
Yeah.
talking about like fantasy romance, and I'm like, did you ever do A Court of Thorns and Roses?
I did A Court of Thorns. I did that whole series about 3 times. I've read that.
Okay. Can you explain to me how the heck you got through Silver Flame?
Okay, actually, I skipped Silver Flame. I actually skipped that one.
So okay, I got halfway through Silver Flame
Okay.
because I was tired of the will she train today? Will she not train today? Will she train
Yeah.
today? Will she? It pissed me off. I stopped halfway and I looked up what happened on Google.
Yeah,
I
I do
was
that.
over it.
I do that with movies when I hate the movie, like halfway through. I'm like, I'm just gonna read the rest of what happened, so I'm satisfied. But Silver Flame, like I hated. That's the one with Nesta, right?
That yeah, it focuses on
I
Nesta.
I hated her so much. Like, and she was just such a horrible, horrible character in every book. Every time she had a line, I had to like close it for a second and just be like, why is she still alive in the books? Anyway, so once I realized there was a book about her like potentially being happy, I was like, I can't read that. That'll ruin my whole mental about this whole series. So I do have the book and it's on my bookshelf and it's staring at me like you should read it, but I don't know if I'll get around to that.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Every time I say, yeah, I've read that entire series, I don't count that book as a part of it. So I did read the entire series 3 times, just not that book.
Yeah.
My last book question, have you read or do you read any Alexandra Bracken? So like she did The Darkest Minds,
Um,
Lore, Silver in the Bone.
I might have, but I don't think so. It doesn't ring any like bells.
So
Alexandra
yep.
Bracken, you said?
Yeah, she wrote The Darkest Minds. Lore is really, really good. It's like
Oh,
modern day Hellenism.
yeah, I think I have heard of that book. I'm gonna look it up in my Goodreads and see if I find it. But what were you gonna say about it? Should I read it?
For sure. It's like modern day Hellenism where like all the Greek gods are taking out their anger on all the former royal families.
Yes. No, it is in my list, The Darkest Minds. It's on my want to read list, but I have not read. I do recognize this cover though. I definitely have seen that in like the stores. So it probably popped off this year now. Like
Couple years
or
ago. I think she
oh, okay,
released it in
okay. But it's
21.
recent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. That'll be on my 2025 to read list. So
Well, not to leave Logan and Sarah out.
sorry. We
It's
were bonding
okay.
real quick.
Besides
Uh,
Naruto, what other animes do you guys like?
Go ahead, Logan. I
Um,
just yapped.
all right. The first anime that I watched was Dragon Ball. That got me into the anime world. I watched all of Demon Slayer. Um, what others did I watch?
You watch Attack on Titan?
Yeah, I watched Attack on Titan. How could I forget that? That's probably actually my
Yeah.
favorite.
I know
Yeah, that
you.
one was really good. Yeah, you do.
JJK?
Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah, that
I
was a
got
great
you,
one
bro.
too.
She's like, I
Yeah.
know things.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's hard on the spot. It's hard.
it is. There's so many good ones too. Like it's hard to name all of them.
Yeah. I feel like me and you bond over it. We like those actiony like animes, like the ones that have the fighting and that fantasy element again, to a point.
Yeah, no, those are my favorite. I used to be at my
Yeah.
friend's house and used to watch sport anime all the time. I was like, I didn't even know that this is a thing.
Yeah.
Like used to watch like people play tennis and anime.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Haikyuu.
okay.
Like that
Yeah,
volleyball.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
My
see,
boyfriend.
in middle school, I remember Dragon Ball, and then I got into Inuyasha, and
Yeah.
Oh
then
yeah.
and then after
That's
a
the
while, it
Japanese
was like,
anime.
oh, Bleach,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got into more like movies, and I fell in love with all of like Hayao Miyazaki's movies because of the movie Spirited Away,
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they're great. They're such good movies.
Yeah. Their animation's really cool. I think
hmm
I liked my first one was Naruto, and then I fell into like the Death Note. Full Metal Alchemist is actually a good. Logan. Have you watched that?
No.
You should watch that. That's like one of my faves.
I've been watching Death Note though, but I
Yeah.
stopped
Yeah.
for watching it after like with 10 episodes left. I stopped watching at the end because
Dang.
it kind of pissed me off like what was happening. I was like, this is kind of stupid.
I didn't like the final season of Attack on Titan. I'm gonna be honest. So
Yeah, it was
I do
okay.
that. I do
The
that a
beginning
lot.
was
Like
better.
even with Game of Thrones too, and total switch there. But like I feel like so many final shows, like the ending of shows, it like they kind of
Why is
drop
it
the
so
ball.
hard to end it nicely? Why do they gotta ruin it?
I know. I guess it's hard to please everybody,
I
but
guess so.
what can you do?
I hate a bad ending.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So for the most important Gem XP question of all, what is your favorite dinosaur?
I love velociraptors.
Spinosaurus.
I'm gonna go T-Rex just because they're cute.
They're cute. Yep.
Pretty good. Yeah.
They're cute with all their killer teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's their little arms. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
I know. Yep.
On brand.
So we had a Velociraptor, T-Rex, and
I said a Spinosaurus. That's what my brother would.
Nice.
He was like a big dinosaur nerd when I was younger, and it was like Jurassic Park was playing all the time. And I feel like his favorite movie was that one with the big Spinosaurus T-Rex fight. And I don't know if you've seen Jurassic Park, you guys, but
oh yeah,
Spinosaurus always looked cool to me. I don't even know if it's a real dinosaur. Couldn't
Mhm.
tell you. Is it? But
yep.
it's my
It's a
fave.
real. It's real. Although you never know these days what dinosaurs are going to be real.
So true. There's a lot coming out about that. So
Mhm.
Just never know. See, mine's the Brachiosaurus, but I've been trying to think of a cooler dinosaur.
yeah, something they'll probably come out. They'll find a new one this year.
Yeah.
That's on my 2025 predictions. There'll be a new dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that one.
Maybe. We'll
What
find
about
out.
you, Chris?
Ankylosaur.
Oh, that's like such a I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was a kid answer. I can't even picture that in my mind.
What that one looks like?
No.
Oh, it's the one with the armor on its back and the big old club tail.
Oh, maybe I do know
Oh
what
yeah,
that
they're
is
sick.
then. Yeah.
He likes that club tail.
Yeah.
Dang right.
Wants to
They'll mess
beat
you up.
things with it. It will mess you up.
yeah. It was hard.
Well, that was our final, very important question.
Heck yeah.
That was
But
important.
we've been asking that question now for a long time now, ever since we interviewed Opal and Sky.
That's funny.
I'm gonna have to go research more dinosaurs now.
I know, I
dropped
wasn't
the ball on
prepared.
that.
We did have someone come back on. They said they did their research, and he was like, I'm changing my dinosaur. I did my research, and I choose this dinosaur. And it was
Alright.
actually one that Chris and I had never heard of.
Oh.
Wow.
Apparently, it looks like a zebra. I don't know. Never heard of it.
My knowledge
I
is
don't
so
remember the name of
limited.
it either, so.
My knowledge is so limited, and I should know more. Like I said, my brother was obsessed, but I can't think of anything right now.
It's okay.
It's the on-the-spot questions, man. They
It's
get ya.
okay. That's what we like to do at the end, is be like, we put everyone on spot. I think we've warned people before, like, oh, you're gonna get
Really?
asked dinosaur question.
Wow, so we got gypped. You guys didn't give us the sneak peek before.
No, I meant if you listen to our episodes, you'll
Oh,
know.
all right.
Oh yeah.
I see.
If you do your
I'm gonna
research,
put-
you'll know.
Yeah, I know.
And according to YouTube analytics, only about 5 people have heard the question be asked.
It's
Really?
true.
Wow.
It's true. Darn analytics.
YouTube analytics makes it just feel so rough.
Oh,
Yeah, it does.
that's lame.
It
I'm gonna
sucks
post a
sometimes.
picture of a dinosaur on my Instagram story. I'm gonna have no context. It'll just be a picture of a dinosaur, and you guys will know.
Yeah.
Everybody will know.
But you got to put it to your Spinosaurus,
Yeah, I've put that. Yeah,
Mm.
I'll put that.
and then we'll know.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got you.
Is there anything else you guys would want to mention to anyone listening?
We have a show February 1st at Love Drafts Microbrewery in Harrisburg. So that'll be our first show out in a while. And then the week after, we're playing February 8th at what's it called?
Union Firehouse.
Yeah.
Yes, in Mount
That's in
Holly,
New
New
Jersey.
Jersey. But yeah.
And keep an eye out for new music because it's coming in hot.
Yep.
Yeah, new music this year, and hopefully in the beginning of the year. So.
Yep.